Hello and welcome to the Teacher Personalized Learning Project. And this is the online version where you get to experience everything in an online setting, so you don't even have to meet face to face. So I want to talk to you a little bit to start with just about what our goals are for this course. The first goal for our course is that you kind of get a better idea of what personalized learning is by experiencing a personalized learning project. So you're going to hopefully understand and kind of grow in your understanding of what project-based learning is or personalized learning is. I also want to talk a little bit about how your classroom will be impacted when every student has a Chromebook. And I think there is a big change there, and so that's going to be a part of our conversation today. We also want to think about if you need any, and kind of telling you what you could do if you need help when it comes to digital organization options. And then the biggest part of this is that you get 5 hours to create a useful project or an action plan or a lesson that works for you in your teacher content area. So in your courses in Schoology, will you please look for the online course called Teacher PerL Project Online. I'm going to start with talking about the first folder in the course called What Have You Gotten Yourself Into? In there, what I want to emphasize is the rubric we have for this project you're going to be spending the majority of your time on. The idea for the project is that we want this project to involve one of the 3 access points, either feedback, student self-assessment, or culturally relevant pedagogy. We also want the project in some way to advance student learning. We ask that it have some sort of technology infusion. We do ask that it's personalized to meet your needs as a learner, as a teacher learner. And so it's not that it has to involve personalized learning for students, it's that this is a personalized learning project for you. So do what works for you. And then the last thing is that it's useful, that you're going to be able to use it in the next school year. So now I'm going to go on to the next folder, and let's talk a little bit about what personalized learning is. Now this folder actually has another presentation in it that I'd like you to watch. It's a presentation on personalized learning. After you're done watching that, I do want you to complete the discussion prompt on personalized learning. And you're going to have to do that on your own time. At the same time too, we're going to have you go through and do the Padlet, which is a review of what personalized learning is for you. So kind of making sure it's that check and balance to make sure you do understand personalized learning and to get a better understanding what other people who are taking this course, how they envision personalized learning. Then I want you to go through and I want you to look at the advice from teachers in a one-to-one Chromebook environment. The video is kind of nice that's there. It kind of is helpful to get a good idea. And the video of Chromebooks, how they're being used at Plymouth Middle School, is also helpful. But the one I really want to make sure you go through is the advice. And that advice is from teachers at the middle school in our Robbinsdale area schools who said, if I had this to do over again, or what I really think high school teachers should know. And so it's just a presentation of different information of what they think high school teachers should know. The next thing I want you to do is start thinking about what you want to do for your personalized project. Here is just some tools to help you to come up with what we call a driving question. So some information about driving questions. Driving questions are just open-ended questions that students can use to kind of focus in. We're hoping for our purposes, you use it to focus in how you spend your time on your project. They should use words like best or most effective, but they don't have to be so specific that they limit you either. The key is really to think a little bit more critically, to have like that higher order questions. If you do have some questions about how to create a good driving questions, we have a resource here for you. In addition, in that folder, we have a sample of teacher driving questions. So feel free to look over those driving questions and see if one kind of can lead you into creating a driving question for yourself. Another visual that we used is this matrix of project possibilities. The idea is that you're going to pick either feedback, student self-assessment, or culturally relevant pedagogy is the overall focus. And then we thought about some areas that teachers can be thinking about that they need to be working on or that impact your daily life. Classroom management, lesson plan, unit plan, physical space. You also can create your own category. And then when you're ready, there's a link here, and there's also a link here, there's in several places, you're going to see this link to a driving question form. And we just would like you to fill out this form so we know what your driving question is. The next thing I want to discuss are the resources that we have here. Now this is optional. Use them if you want and if it works for you, and don't if you don't have to. The review of the access points is if you haven't had a chance to attend the access points workshop yet. It's just a review of what those are. What really might be helpful is some examples of student work when it comes to personalized projects. So in here, you can see that there are two different projects that we highlighted. Both of them are in the 9th grade at Armstrong. One is a culture project, and you can see here, if you click here, you're going to see the instructions from the teachers to the students. And then you see examples of what the students came up with. And they're actually really kind of cool to see what the students on their own came up with. Another project was about a country. Each student got to pick a country, and so you can see some of those projects as well. The last thing I want to do is just summarize what you need to do to get your paid for the 6 hours for this course. There's 4 things you need to do. Before you begin, we'd like you to fill out that survey, and here's just another link. It's the same link that you saw in crafting your driving question. So the beginning project, you want to craft your driving question. When you're done, we're going to ask that you go into this assignment and that you submit an assignment. And here you can submit an assignment. The best way to do is create, and you can just write out what you did with your 5 hours, what you did for your project. If instead it was easier to just connect a resource, like connect a resource that you created, you can do that instead. This isn't meant to be a big time taker of your time. It's just something to summarize, and so we can check off that yes, you did complete your project. The next thing we're going to ask you to do is kind of a self-assessment. We had the rubric here, and so we're going to ask you to go through and just answer the rubric. And so what we have is each question is just based on each of the areas that we have in the rubric. Do you feel like you exceeded, or you were proficient, or you didn't quite yet meet those the rubric that we gave to you? The last thing that we have is this PerL project reflection, and actually it is optional, but it would really help us out if you filled it out. This is one of the first times we've done such an open professional learning opportunity for teachers, and it would be really helpful if we got feedback from you on that, and that's what this is. So know that you have this project here, you have this information here. Please do take the time and go through. There's another video on what personalized learning is, and giving that advice, looking through the presentation on the advice from middle school teachers when there's a Chromebooks in your classroom. Good luck, and don't hesitate to contact Colleen Kennedy. I'm at Colleen_Kennedy at ardale.org if you have any questions at all.